Hi everyone, my name is Hilconey. I'm going to show you how to make a single post to multiple subreddits using some simple scripting on your computer. To give you an example of what we're going to do today, let me show you some subreddits that I got here. So I have this test subreddit where a bunch of people make test posts. I have another post here called test_posts. As you can see, I've already made some posts here, but I'm going to show you how this script works. So right here, I have a shortcut on my desktop, post to Reddit. So what's the name of my post title going to be? This is my cool tutorial about Reddit posting. What kind of post is this? This will be a text post, and we'll say this is a really cool video. Make sure to like and subscribe. From there, I put in what kinds of subreddits I want to post to. In this case, I go to the test subreddit and test post, but otherwise you would separate these with a comma. And I have these in by default, so if you have multiple subreddits that you usually post to, you can just add these in so you don't have to type it each time. Then I hit enter. And as you can see, it says it's successfully posted. So let's go back to our subreddits. Let's refresh the page and see if it posted. Nice. This is my cool tutorial about Reddit posting. Cool video. Like and subscribe. And we should see it on this subreddit as well. And there it is. My cool tutorial about Reddit posting. Awesome. So let's get into how the code works here. And if you don't have any coding experience, that's all right. I'll be doing this on a new copy of Windows. So I'll show you how to set this up from scratch, how to put in the code, and how to get that shortcut on your desktop. Okay, to get started, we're going to set up our computer so we can do our coding. Say new copy of Windows, open up Chrome, go to python.org. This is going to be the program that runs the code that we write today. Go to downloads, all the releases. At the very top, you'll see Python 3.12.7 at the time of this release. Might be something later. Any of these will work pretty much. Just grab something that's relatively new, hit the download button, and if you scroll down to the bottom here, you should see something that says Windows Installer 64-bit. This is the one that you want. Click this link here, and you'll see the downloads pop up in Chrome. Click on that executable, and you should see an installer pop up. We'll just go through the defaults there, say install now. That's finished running. So now that we've installed Python, we want to install the code editor that we're going to use. And today we're going to use VS Code. So type VS Code into Google, click the first link. Here we'll just download for Windows. And there should be a download button. Oh, it already downloaded. Hit Control-J, open up your downloads. Click here. Accept the agreement because you have no choice. Just hit next. Next. Create a desktop icon. Install. Cool. Now we have VS Code. Make sure it launches after we're done here. And this is the screen that you should see. The first thing that we want to do is we want to install the Python extension for VS Code. And this is going to give us intelligent hints about the code that we're writing. And it's going to highlight the parts of our code that we're interested in. So we'll click that install button. Watch that install. Okay. So now that we've done that, we want to open a folder to do our work in. So I've got just the default folder set up here. Let's go to C. Let's make a new folder on the C drive. We'll call it dev for development. Open this up, and then we'll call it our Reddit poster is the name of our project. Go here, open up this folder. Yes, I trust the authors, trust everything in dev. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make a new file, and we'll call this file Reddit_poster.py. That's going to be the name of the file that we're making. So what we're going to do is we're going to write our code in here, but first thing we need to do is we need to install third-party libraries that will help us interact with the Reddit API and make all sorts of queries as far as what we want to post. So the first thing we have to do is install these packages, and the way we install that is we hit Control tilde, and the tilde key, it's on the upper left part of the keyboard, so you use that to open the terminal here. And we install those using pip, which should have been installed when we installed Python. To check that pip is installed, just type pip -- version. Okay, it looks like it's not set up correctly. In order to fix that, what we do is we go to our downloads back in Chrome, click this exe, go to modify, hit next, and there's this option here that we have to tick called add Python to environment variables. Make sure you do that and hit install. It'll update, close that out. Then we have to restart VS Code. So close that. We'll restart VS Code by pressing the Windows key, typing in VS Code. And then from there, we should be able to see our pip version. And look, it's correctly installed. And just to make sure, we'll type in Python -- version, make sure that's installed correctly. And we have the version of Python that we installed. Okay, now that our environment is set up correctly, we want to install the packages that we're going to be using today. So I will install these packages, and I will put this into the description if you don't want to type it out. But the packages we are using are going to be installed with pip install praw, and that's going to be the package that interacts with Reddit for us. Questionary, which is going to prompt the user for what information they want, and python-dotenv, and that's going to store our environment variables for logging into the website. So if you hit enter, you'll see that pip is going to start downloading all these packages. Now that our package is installed, the next thing we need to do is we need to log into our Reddit account. After you've done that, go to this URL. It's reddit.com/prefs/apps. And from there, you will see the screen. It's going to say, are you a developer? Create an app. And you're a developer right now. So type in the name of your app. In this case, you don't want to use the word bot because for some reason, Reddit doesn't like it when you name your apps bots. So we're going to name this art poster because we're going to post art on multiple subreddits. That's the idea. Hit script because this is a script for personal use. And then description, it's like my art poster script. Then one thing that you also have to fill out is this redirect URI. You don't have to worry about what this does, but all you need to do is you need to put HTTPS at the beginning of this, ://, 2 forward slashes, localhost, :8000. Then from here, you fill out the CAPTCHA, create app, application created, and you should see it listed up here. And this is going to contain all the information that you need to run your application. Just make sure that you keep this information secret. This is basically a password here. Once I'm done, I'm going to be deleting this, so no biggie, but make sure that other people don't see this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the information from the app that we just created to use in our application. And to do that, we're going to go into the folder that we have. We have our Reddit poster.py. We're going to make a new file, right click, new file, .env. So these are our environment variables that we're going to use to run our application. And we have several that we need to set up. The first is going to be the client ID. So type in client_ID equals. And then here is the client ID according to Reddit for the app we just created. So copy this, paste that in. The next thing that we're going to copy over is the client secret. And this is a secret. That's why we're putting it in this file, so we don't put it in the same place as the code. So this is basically a password saying like, hey, this is the password I use to access my application. So keep this secret, copy this in, paste it. Then the next thing that we need to add is a user agent variable. And this one isn't a huge deal what you call this. Just call this the same name as your application. So like art poster v1.0 by u Helconi. And that's pretty standard for the user agent. Just make sure it's named whatever your script application is. Just don't use the word bot in it because Reddit might restrict the way that you use it. The next environment variable that we're going to define is the Reddit username of the bot that we're using. So in this case, it's Helconi bot for me. So Helconi-bot. And the last thing that we're going to use is the Reddit password. And this will be the actual password of your account that you want to post with. So in this case, I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to say password 123. Later on, I'll add my actual password in there. So while we're using the code, you can log into your account and make the post. Just make sure that when you name these environment variables that you use Reddit_username and Reddit_password. Otherwise, you might get conflicts on your system and your code won't run. So now that we've set up our environment variables, we want to start writing the code to make our Reddit post for us. To start doing that, we're going to import our environment variables using the package we just installed. So to do that, we type in from.env import load.env. And if you did that correctly, there should be no red squiggly lines here. If you didn't do that correctly, you still have to run this command down here, which is pip install and then all this stuff. And if you need to run that command, it's in the description. So after we imported this, this is a function, so we need to call it. So load_.env, call that function. Now our environment variables are in our script. Now we need to import the libraries that we're going to use. In this case, we're going to import praw, which is the Reddit API that we're going to be calling. Importing questionary, which is the way that we're going to prompt the user for more information. And then we're going to import OS, which is how we're going to get our environment variables from where we need to. Okay, next part of our code, we're going to define our Reddit instance. So we're going to say Reddit equals praw.Reddit, capital R, put a parenthesis here, and we're going to put in all the information that we had from our environment variables into this. So we're going to say client ID equals os.getEnv, and then we're going to put in the name of the client ID that we had earlier in the env file. So in the env file, we defined client ID here. We used load.env to bring it in, and then we put the client ID in like this. And we're going to do the same for all the other variables that are needed. So client_secret, os.getEnv, client secret. We're going to do this for user agent equals os.getEnv, user agent. We're going to do this for the username, os.getEnv, Reddit username. And finally for the password, os.get env Reddit's password. So this is going to define the Reddit instance that we use to access Reddit. So now we need to prompt the user for whatever information that they want to use for their post. So let's define the title. And to do that, we're going to say the title is equal to questionary. And helpful tip, you can hit the tab key to autocomplete this once it starts suggesting something. .text. And we're going to say, what is the post title? .ask. So this is going to ask the user what they want, and then whatever the response is, it's going to set it inside the title variable. Next up, we have the post type. That's going to be questionary.select. What type of post is this? From here, they have several choices, and those choices are going to be a list. So choices equals, and then we put a square bracket to denote a list. And the choices that we have here are link and text. And from there, we want to ask, what kind of post is this? The next thing we're going to ask for is the content of the post. So use questionary again. That text, what is the post content? And that's either going to be the text that you post or the link that you want to post. So you do that. Next thing we want to know is what subreddits does the user want to post to? So in this case, we'll define our default subreddit. So default_subreddits equals test subreddit and test_posts. Of course, you would replace this with whatever subreddits that you want to use personally. Subreddits equals questionary.text. What subreddits do you want to post to? And then we'll add a tip, say comma separated, so the user knows what to put in. Now we put a comma also inside those parentheses, and we'll say the default is equal to the default subreddits. And you'll see if I type in the word default, I can just hit tab and it auto completes. And a helpful tip for when your script gets really long and it starts to cut off, if you hit Alt Z, that text will wrap around, so it'll toggle word wrap, as you can see down there. And now that we've done that, we're going to say .ask to ask for this. And then we're going to split that up and put it into a list. So after .ask, we put in the dot, type in split. Then we add a comma with our quotation marks here. So it's going to split based on the comma. And I also misspelled subreddits, so let's make sure we spell that correctly. So now we're going to loop through all the subreddits and make the post that we want. So we're going to do that using a for loop in Python. And to do that, we type in for sub in subreddits. We're going to try getting that subreddit. So we're going to make a variable called subreddit. We're going to say it's equal to Reddit. And Reddit is the variable we defined up here to access Reddit for us as our user. Subreddit and sub. So it's going to access the subreddit using the string that it's got inside of subreddit, in this case test or test posts. If we hit enter, we're going to say if the post type that we defined earlier is equal to link, then we're going to say subreddit.submit, and that's making the post for us, that a post with a title, and the URL is equal to content, because the content in this case is going to be a link because the user chose link up here. Otherwise, they're going to select a body post or a text post. So we're going to say else here, subreddit.submit title, and then self-text is the argument we use here, equals content. Okay, so then after that's done, we're going to print a message to the console, which is going to say, we're going to put an F here before these quotation marks to insert variables into the string. It's called a formatted string, an F string. So here we're going to say successfully posted. And then if you put brackets here, and these aren't square brackets, these are actual like regular brackets, you put in post_type, which is the variable we want to inject here. We successfully posted our post type in r/sub. Okay. And sometimes an error might pop up when we try to do these. And when that happens, we're going to run the except part of this loop. So it's going to try this, and if something happens, it's going to say accept. And then from there, we want to know why it failed. So we're going to print an F string called failed to post in r/sub. And then from here, we're going to put in the error message. And to do that, we need to go to accept. We need to type in exception as E, and that's going to bind our exception to this variable E here. And then we're going to convert that to a string and then print it out so we know why it failed if it ever does fail to post. And now that we have our script all done, we're going to go to questionary.text and make sure that we press enter to exit the script. So that way when we're running it, it stays open until we hit enter. And then now that we've done all that, our script is good to go. So now that we've finished writing our script, we need to have a way to easily use it. And to do that, we're going to make a new file inside of this project. Right click, new file. And we're going to call this post to reddit.cmd. So this is a command that's going to be run on Windows to run our script. And to run this command, we're going to put in Python, which is the name of the coding language we've been using. We're going to put in a // and then we're going to put in the name of our script, which is reddit-poster.py. That's all you have to do. From there, all you have to do is make sure that you hit file save, and make sure you do that for all of the files that you've got set up, including the .env file. Or you can hit file autosave here, which will autosave your documents. Now that we've done that, let's go to the directory where we've done our project, and here you'll see a post to Reddit, and you'll see the file type is a Windows command script, which is what we want. From here, we want to right click on that, and we also want to make a shortcut. So we go to show more options, we go to send to desktop, create shortcut. So now if we do that, we can hit Windows key D to see our desktop, and we see that the shortcut was successfully created. Let's double click that, and we should see our application run. Okay, what is the post title? Let's say this is a super cool post. What kind of post is this? This is going to be a link post, and we're going to say it's to example.com. Let me zoom in here again so people can see. What subreddits do you want to post to? Let's just post to this test subreddit for now. And successfully posted. Let's take a look at it. We'll go to Reddit, reddit.com, our test. Let's see if our test got posted. Okay, this is a super cool post 1 minute ago. Awesome. So that's all you need to do to get posting on multiple subreddits. If you'd rather not write that code yourself, I have it in the description below, so you can copy it there. You will still have to install Python and set up the Reddit app, but that's not too bad. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe, and I'll post more like this.